Good afternoon, my name is Jean-Noël Fehr, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to this breakout session of the SIF, Insight to User-Centered e-Health Product Design. Thank you for the SIF, for making this happen, and thank you for your interest. Before we start the presentation, I would like just to remind you that you can ask questions through the chat box during the presentation. We will answer those at the end during the Q&A session, and if not possible, we will do this in written form. So now for the program of the next 35 minutes, we will have a first presentation by Dr. William Hendren, which is CEO of Qura, coming from Boston. Then I will take over for a second part of the presentation before switching to a survey and ending by this Q&A session. As you can see, the survey will be using the application Menti. And if you like, you can already join Menti by typing www.menti.com and introducing the code that you see on the right, or using your cell phone to select the QR code. Now first to Dr. Hendren. Dr. Hendren is an accomplished surgeon and healthcare professional, and he has an extensive clinical background. He held several leadership positions in cardiovascular surgery, prior embarking and focusing on business of healthcare. He is currently directing the development and commercialization effort at Qura, and he is a cum laude from Dartmouth College, Harvard Medical School, Marshall Business School at the University of Southern California. Please, Dr. Hendren, you can start your presentation.
Good afternoon and greetings from Boston. I'm Dr. Will Hendren, and I'm the CEO at Qura. At Qura, we have long held belief that e-health, in particular implanted sensors and the data that they produce, is the next big story in healthcare today. The purpose of today's presentation is to advance some understanding of e-health through the lens of a very important clinical disease, congestive heart failure, and through the lens of our company's unique technology that will advance the care of patients with congestive heart failure and other important diseases. Qura is developing a portfolio of active wireless implantable pressure sensors to better manage specific cardiovascular diseases. Our disruptive devices feature extreme miniaturization of components and a previously unachieved ability to provide continuous and autonomously generated patient data. Qura is poised to enable a new frontier in e-health through digital disease intelligence. This is the e-health ecosystem, which is comprised of these interconnected domains. Sensors don't have value without the data that they generate, and data doesn't have value without reaching the end users, and the power of data is not maximized without analytics and the promise of AI. The key takeaway is that the promise of e-health is to provide new diagnostic and disease management insights for the delivery of better, more personalized, and cost-effective healthcare. You will see that Qura's technology has touch points in all of these domains. CHF, not to be confused with the Swiss currency, is the internationally used acronym for congestive heart failure, an extremely important global disease, where e-health is increasingly playing an important role. In North America, it is soon to become a $70 billion annual problem. Qura's solution for CHF is an integrated series of implanted blood pressure and pulmonary artery pressure sensors that will transmit real-time patient data continuously and autonomously to more effectively manage patients with late-stage disease. Compared to currently approved technology, Qura's solution is highly differentiated and can be a transformational clinical advance. This slide illustrates the wide variety of devices that patients with heart failure today can now take advantage of, both external or wearable and internal or implanted. Most of you are aware of the types of wearables listed here on the left. On the right side, I've listed the implanted sensors or other devices that are available or in development, including Qura's Q-Mart system. Qura's technology is truly disruptive, and this slide summarizes some of the key technology attributes. We have hired Helbling as the lead engineer for development of our implants with the aspects listed below, and also for the development of our cloud infrastructure. We are developing an active or internally powered and fully autonomous, meaning automatically function, sensor that allows physicians to target preventive interventions and to stratify disease progression. The disruption technology highlights include extreme miniaturization of all of the components that comprise the active implant, wireless powering and data transmission at great distances, and we are the first to incorporate an internal power supply. The depiction below demonstrates that when fully assembled, our implanted sensor complex is roughly the size of a grain of rice. This demonstrates how Qura's internal sensor will be implanted. The device will be integrated onto a stent and then subsequently positioned to the desired target area using routine procedures. No new skills need to be learned. Because of Qura's unique design, which encompasses extreme miniaturization, there is an extensive list of other disease targets for our technology. This slide shows other cardiac diseases where pressure-guided therapy is essential and where we believe our technology will find wide adoption. In addition, we believe our sensors can be integrated with a wide variety of existing devices to make so-called dumb devices smarter and smart devices even smarter. This fits with the theme of integrated technologies working together. This slide is an overview of Qura's operating system, which we call Q-Smart. The system includes the implanted sensors, which transmit data to an external device, roughly the size of a hockey puck, which in turn uploads the data to the cloud and to our data management system. The data is delivered to a handheld device, allowing caregivers to evaluate the data and to provide therapy for their patients in real time. In addition to disruptive technology, Qura's business model is equally disruptive. Traditionally, the medical device industry is focused on a direct sales model. However, the traditional medical device value chain is evolving, and it has always been Qura's belief that the greatest enterprise value is not in the device, but rather in the data and the analysis and the revenue associated with such. This slide details elements of the data-enhanced business model and the theme of recurring revenue associated with it. We consider this to be the business model of the future, making devices smarter and providing benefits well beyond the cost. A word about data, analytics, and AI. These devices generate massive amounts of data, actionable in the short term and predictive in the long term. The promise of rich data streams is for AI and machine learning to provide new diagnostic, triage, and disease management insights, which will result in more effective care. To achieve such a vision, the integration of sensor technology and AI also requires interconnectivity of medical devices and everyday objects through the Internet of Things. Importantly, the product promise of implantable sensor technology really lies in the value of the data and the ability to extract that value. In conclusion, first, I sincerely hope that we have succeeded in advancing your understanding of the world of e-health, our disruptive technology and business model through the lens of a very real and important global disease. Nearly 5 years ago, our founders had a vision of a future where pressure sensors could be placed in humans. As the technology grew smaller and smaller and more advanced, that vision has grown to a mission. And today, that mission is becoming a reality, and we're very proud to share our story with you. Finally, we are currently completing the final integration of our cardiovascular device and plan to be in man in 24 months or less. We are actively seeking financing and other collaborations to support this milestone. We invite any of you in the audience that are interested in learning more about Qura's story to contact us at the information below. Sincerely, thank you very much for the opportunity to share this.
Thank you, Dr. Hendren, for this insight in a health product through the lens of both congestive heart failure and the unique technology of Qura. So we learned during this presentation about the disruptive business model of Qura, which is aiming at providing new diagnostics and disease management insight for better, more personalized and cost-effective healthcare. In the second part of this presentation, we will discuss how to provide the promises of healthcare to the stakeholders through the lens of engineering development. We will then discuss development strategies, technologies, from the implant to the cloud, including discussion on data processing and artificial intelligence. This for a successful product development within 24 months. So let us just review what we have. We do have a disruptive health product, which have all attributes of a successful product innovation, meaning it is desirable, should meet the customer needs. It is viable, so it should generate profit, and it is feasible from the point of view of technology. The main differentiator of this product are mostly linked to the extreme miniaturization, as we will see, and to the active, autonomous, and continuous wireless pressure sensing. Also to note is possibilities of data analytics with predictive and disease intelligence models, and the fact that this device addresses directly medical professionals and patients. From an engineering development perspective, what we need to do is always to use existing and proven technologies, but in this case, for the technical differentiators. And I will go there to two technological topics. To achieve extreme miniaturization, two aspects are to be considered first. First, the casing. Nowadays, we have great implants with titanium casing, which are relatively bulky. And we have now also new fascinating technologies which are inspired from MEMS manufacturing, which allow basically to get rid of the casing or to reduce its volume drastically. One is using ceramic casing, the image you see on the right, and the other one is not using casing at all and using multi-layer coating to protect your electronics and other part of your implants. Those technologies are surely great and allow us to make extreme miniaturization a reality today. You need to, if you want to use this, you need to consider batch size because you will have always a large volume of product. You need to consider regulatory requirements as a regulatory body are not really used to cope with those type of new technologies. And you need to understand that if you are switching to MEMS manufacturing process, that you will have to manage hundreds of manufacturing steps with your partners, which is way beyond what is done today. The second technology I would like to address, making extreme miniaturization real today, is battery technology. So we are going now from this bulky, again, titanium encapsulated batteries to extremely miniaturized button cells, as you can see on the left, or even to solid-state batteries, which are extremely thin batteries. Those batteries have great advantage in size, but also are extremely limited in battery capacity and available peak current. So for this, you also need to make several considerations for your implants, and also need to be extremely low power. An interesting aspect also to address is that with solid-state batteries, MEMS pressure sensors, and ASIC, you can manufacture everything on one single wafer. So you can even imagine today having your eHealth implant without any assembly steps. So let us now move to ultra-low power. For this topic, I just want to address one point, which is mostly data processing and digital intelligence. This is something you have to do extremely carefully, because you need to have extremely low resource consumption in your implant, and you basically have infinite resources available in your cloud. So let us start to think about what is critical. First, the data generation in the implant. This is one of the most important points, because if your implant data is not good enough, you will never be able to generate value in the cloud with it. Following this data generation, it's also probably important to make a first data processing in the implant to make a sanity check, making sure that the data is usable, otherwise you can redo it. If you go to the next steps, which is named here Q-Link, which is a smart devices, here you can generate further added value to your data in augmenting the information you have with additional sensors. And you can also do first level of data analytics to generate alarms or generate added information for your patients. The last step is basically going to the cloud, where you can generate full value with your data. Again, important to say, you have to have a complete strategy encompassing all aspects of your product in order to achieve ultra-low power and extreme miniaturization for this type of implant. So let us review again what we have, or what we should have. We should have an implant now with the following attributes. It should be extremely miniaturized, active and autonomous. It should allow for continuous measurement and work with ultra-low power. In addition, you need to make sure that you can have long-distance wireless data transfer and long-distance wireless charging. With all of those attributes, you can basically make a body sensor which is mostly invisible for the patient, and so avoiding compliance issue and providing better and more reliable data for e-health application. So today, the technology is ready to bring the e-health promises to all of your stakeholders. Now I would just like to switch to data processing and data evaluation, starting with artificial intelligence for small data. I'm talking about small data because when you are starting a medical product development, you generally have no data at all and are fighting for each bit of data you can generate and get to develop your artificial intelligence. And everything starts by problem understanding. This is a key aspect where you need to spend quite a significant amount of time, also with standard algorithm and standard evaluation methods. This will help you to improve the data preparation in the next step, and also it will help you understand where your artificial intelligence is of added value. The data preparation is probably the most resources consuming part of this process. But when you are done, you can switch to network training. And you should consider in network training augmenting your data, so meaning generating, in a way, fake data in order to better train your network or better develop your artificial intelligence before going to evaluation. It's also important to loop back from evaluation to problem understanding in order to make your artificial intelligence algorithm explainable. And this is an important aspect in order to go through the regulatory bodies. And I will close this slide by saying, do not do artificial intelligence for marketing, but please do it when only mandatory. If we go up the chain of data, the next step would be application on smart devices. As you know, this is a jungle of applications and a jungle of possibilities you have there. I will just comment on the choice of development environment. You can basically choose between native cross-platform and web application for your apps. Native platform have the great advantage to allow you to make fancy and low latency applications. If we go to cross-platform like Xamarin or other React Native platform, you do have also the advantage not having to make development for each of the platforms and still having a good hardware access. And the last option is mostly web application, where you are independent of operating system, which is a great thing, but you have limited access to your hardware resources. And this is an important decision point for your product development. Please make sure, if you decide for native or cross-platform applications, that you have enough resources to follow up with the speed at which the smartphone and other devices change their operating systems. A small word now on cloud. A great thing with e-health product is that it allows you to have all of your services in the cloud. Accounting, for example, user support, patient management, artificial intelligence, digital marketing, and so on. I would say there you might want to consider several or multiple cloud solutions to accommodate for complexity of your use scenario, stakeholder needs, to make sure that you can be medical compliant and to develop your data analytics. Please make sure also to consider the entire product lifecycle, because development is a nice thing, but at the end of the day, your customer needs to be long-term happy with your solutions. We did not touch base now on, till now on usability engineering. Also there, short comments. With your e-health product, you might have more patients or more users than for standard products. One other aspect, having more users is not the only additional complexity. You might have also stronger interaction between those and more overlapping interfaces. So even if we know all methods to address user needs and make great user interfaces, please do not forget to bring your compliant and non-compliant patients early together in order to develop a product which is nearly invisible for your patient. And now, as a conclusion, I would say it's key in this type of product development to manage your e-health product as a complete and integrated system, which will allow you to optimize performance, balance risk, and reduce time to market. Also important for you, I would say, is to set up your own compass for finding the right combinations of technical solutions and to fast-track your e-health product development. So now it remains for me to say thank you for your attention and see you in 24 months. So and now, let me introduce my colleague, Stefan Troller, which will take over from now.
Thank you very much, Jean-Noël, and also Dr. Hendren for your insights and your presentations earlier. As indicated by Jean-Noël at the very beginning of the session, it's now time for you to interact. That's why we have set up a survey on the Menti platform. If you have not been able to log in yet, now it's time to get started. So please use the QR code or log in into the website and use the registration code. There will be 5 questions which will be asked around the topic of e-health and the concept of e-health and how you get there. Most of them are with multiple choice answers, except one, question number 2, where you need to take the 4 topics and rank them along the priorities, starting with the highest priority. So to complete the logging, make also sure that you press on the heart icon, so everything is ready. And if everybody has logged in, it's then we go through the questions one after the other. If everybody has answered on those questions, then we go to the next. So please don't, there might be a bit of a time lag between what you see on the streaming and what you see on your smart device in terms of survey. That's how it is. And one last aspect is, please make sure also at the end of each question, press the submit button so your answer is properly captured by the system. So I'm looking forward to see the results now, and let's get started. First question. Do you use your smart device or wearables to monitor your health parameters? So please, everybody. Next question. Where to focus your resources for bringing your e-health product to the market? So please rank those different items according to your priorities. Let's move on to the next question. So where would you be specialized? Where would specialized support be most valuable for the development of your e-health product? So please select the one which is the most important for you. Next question. So, knowing the promise of an implanted sensor in the body, would you have an implanted device? And now to the last question. Would you allow your data to be sent, analyzed, and stored on a database? Great, thanks a lot for your participation. I'm now opening the stage for a Q&A session with the presenters, Jean-Noël and also Dr. Hendren, as well as Doug Adams, which both have joined us online via Zoom, live from Boston. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So I would like to address my first question to Dr. Hendren. The technology, as we have seen, the miniaturization, the autonomy, and the performance is there. It's not like crazy imagination. It's real, and it's happening now. Having said this, and outside of the cardiovascular, are there other clinical application targets you have in mind with your technology?
Yes, Stefan. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, this is very much happening. This is not Star Wars. This is not imaginative. There are actually a number of different applications that we can put this to. You saw in the presentation that there's a rich landscape in the cardiovascular world because so many diseases in the cardiovascular world are mediated by problems with pressure. But the same holds true for other parts of the body where pressure can be important. The technology was actually originated for pressure problems in the eye around glaucoma, and we have a prototype built for that, which we certainly can commercialize. But outside of that, there are other very compelling areas, such as problems in the brain, problems such as hydrocephalus, where it's all mediated by pressure. We have problems in the bladder, which are pressure-related phenomena. There's a tremendous interest in the orthopedic world with implant technology, where it's known that the pressure in the surrounding tissues generated by the implant is directly proportional to the success of the implant. So yes, there are many areas that are pressure related where we see a great promise for our technology.
There's a comment online which is also which indicates the necessity to look back to approach the future, also in healthcare. Now, having heard that and looking to your product where you use kind of proven technology, how is this true for you? How does this resonate with you? To look back and in order to shape the future.
I don't quite understand what you're asking, Stefan. If you could repeat that.
So there's obviously a way to look back, or at least that's a comment from from our audience, to look back in order to approach the future of also in healthcare, and you also mentioned that what you're using in your implant is proven technology, so things which are around since a long time now. Now, how does this also correlate with that? What's your approach on this? Why you do that?
Well, I mean, to be clear, our technology is very innovative, and it has not been around for a long time. We do have some of the components, but I think as Jean-Noël's outstanding presentation really reviewed, the tremendous advances that have been made and the engineering components that can make all of this possible. So the reality of it is we're looking in the future, we're not looking back. And because of the engineering and technical feats that have been accomplished and that we've been able to incorporate into our product, we believe that this is truly going to disrupt many aspects of care and be the standard of care for many disease entities in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Hendren, for this comment. I would like to address also a question to my colleague Jean-Noël. You have also learned a lot what is required in order to get there. What are the skills and expertise you're looking for? What is your recipe in order to be successful in e-health in 24 months? That's what you said, right?
Yes, this is what I said. An important aspect is surely to have a good network of partners and a good network or an ecosystem with established partners and best-in-class partners which are matched to your needs in terms of technology development, in terms of manufacturing. So what you have to consider there is surely to align your business needs, and not only the monetary needs, because that's quite simple, but the business needs and the direction in which you want to develop your company and the one of your partners. You have to choose partners who can react quickly, so flexible partners is an important aspect. And you also have to have your partner justify their qualification in your network on a daily basis. And last, maybe but not least, you have to have extremely transparent interfaces and well-defined responsibilities in your networks. And well, this seems obvious. It's not always it's simple to establish, but this is a key to a quick and efficient development.
I would like to address my last question again to Dr. Hendren. You have seen in the survey that obviously more than 50% or significantly more than 50% are willing to implant a sensor. Does this surprise you?
Well, actually not at all. I'm surprised that that number is not significantly higher. People forget that, and I'm a dyed-in-the-wool surgeon, we've been implanting devices for well over 50 years in humans that have literally revolutionized and dramatically extended the not only the longevity but the quality of care for many, many, many different diseases and disease entities. So the concept of having a so-called implant in the body, I'm surprised that there's much resistance to that at all. I think what's really remarkable about our product and the product promise is that, you know, the data is the patient's data, meaning that there's a great deal of variability between patients as to what makes them sick and what doesn't with the same disease entities. And so the positive aspects and that what can be gained by having personalized and continuous data that can truly significantly impact one's care, keep you out of the hospital, have a better quality of life, I think would be a very straightforward thing. So I'm actually surprised that it just narrowly favored that. But I think as soon as people really understand what this is all about and how this positively impacts your quality of life and your, in fact, length of life, they'll quickly understand that it's worth having the implant put in.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hendren. So that was my last question. I think we're up with the time. Thank you very much for your participation, Jean-Noël, and also the folks in Boston. It was great that you joined in. As indicated also at the beginning, we're trying to follow up on the questions which we are not able to treat now in this session. I hope anyway everybody had a good time, enjoyed the session, also has a few takeaways out of this exciting topic, and have a great continuation of the conference. Thanks a lot.